This is Justin from GeneralsJoes.com for part 3 of my look at the MP-27 Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece Ironhide action figure. After 30 years, we finally have a modern update to our favorite Generation 1 Red security officer from Transformers, and it's a hell of an update. It's absolutely gorgeous. The vehicle mode is great. The transformation is very straightforward, almost fun, which coming from a Transformers rookie is really saying something. And as you can see, his robot mode is pretty terrific too. He's got lots of blocky shapes, no major visible kibble going on there. All the panels kind of fold out and fold back in well to conceal everything, even though he does have his butt cheeks exposed. That's okay. We won't judge Ironhide. And then on the right side, same thing. Very much, limited panel lines, limited kibble visible, and he manages to look very Generation 1 with his the front of the van being the torso. Of course, his very unique face and head sculpt. All excellently done, but of course, what good is the look without articulation? I'm happy to say that Ironhide is extremely well articulated. He's got these ball, and not really balls, but like multiple joints at the shoulder so he can go forward and out on ratchets. You can kind of hear the ratchet joints clicking. His head is ball jointed. You can look all around. His knees are pretty well jointed. His ankles, he's got little rocker ankles going on here, which is cool. They tilt a little bit, but they have great rock. So you can kind of give them a wide stance and it looks really good. His hips are very movable as well. You see his diamond-shaped codpiece. They can they're all little hinges, so his legs can move without too much trouble. They do have a little issue moving kind of left and right because of his little hip pads there. I don't think that's a huge deal. He can still get into some pretty great dramatic poses like that. Ready to fight. Right on, Megatron. At some point, I may try to approximate Ironhide's accent throughout this review. I'm just warning you now, you might want to mute the video. I'm sure it'll be horrible. You can see he's very well balanced. He's easily posable and stands without much effort, no matter what poses you're putting him in. He's weighted very well. I think the weight and balance of action figures is something that's kind of underestimated. I think it's very cool. The easier you can set up a figure for display without having to tinker it with it a whole lot, the more fun I find it. That's what I've marveled about the Vitruvian Hacks line, which I reviewed a few days ago. The snake figures can balance really excellently right out of the box without a whole lot of trouble. So as you can see, just from an articulation and overall build perspective, Ironhide really is fantastic. He moves like you'd want him to move. He's got a little swivel waist. His colors are great. He's very G1 accurate. He's got lots of blocks covering all the kibble and the garbage underneath that you don't like to see. He is excellent, excellent, excellent. I know a lot of people have been complaining about his little hip pads. I don't really have a problem with that. People complain about his blocky codpiece. I don't have a problem with that either. The bigger the codpiece, the better. He's great. He's really good. I can't think of too many complaints. And of course, he's got a ton of different accessories and a ton of different Easter eggs, if you're into that kind of thing. One thing is that he's got this little rocket launcher that it's not spring-loaded, so the rocket just kind of plops out. It hooks onto his sled, but it also can port onto his back. He's got a little hole in his back, which serves a couple of different purposes, and I'll show you some of those later. But this turns into a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher, which is pretty cool. He, of course, has his trusty laser pistols, which he holds just like any other Masterpiece Transformer holds them. They got the little tab there. You've got to kind of nest them in the back of his hand, or not. There we go. And he actually holds his guns really, really well. He holds them better than some of the other Masterpiece Transformers. I know their gun grip has always been kind of a source of consternation among Masterpiece fans. Ironhide does it very, very well. I really like it. And he comes with 2 guns. As I mentioned in my Hot Rodimus review, any character that comes with 2 guns automatically gets bonus points in my book. So only one more thing to make me love about Ironhide, as if there wasn't enough. I mean, geez, you make me wait 30 years, but then you give me this version of Ironhide with 2 guns. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm okay. It was worth the wait. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, that's obviously not really an Easter egg, it's just guns that he comes with. This thing tabs so well, you can't get it out. Snap. Alright, there we go. That's a look at his really cool laser guns. I love the design of those weapons too, very animated, accurate. And now he's got a lot of different things you can kind of do with his wrist too. You can separate this, kind of fold his hand in, and when you do that the right way, it actually tabs back together. Imagine that. But it leaves like this little tab on the end. And that little tab on the end would let you do all sorts of cool things. Like at one point in the animated series, he was shooting liquid out of his fingertips. So it gives you one of those little fingertip things. See if we can zoom in there on those fingertips. I'm totally losing focus. Probably not, but anyway, you got the idea. It's got those cool little fingertips. That can happen to both hands, by the way. He does come with 2 sets of those alternate hands that let you do that. Then if you wanted to use another thing on this other side, he's got this little, I don't know if it's a flamethrower thing or, you know, I'm not, you know, really proficient in my Generation 1 continuity. I'm more about the concept of the characters than I am about the actual continuity and storyline itself. I will fully admit to have not followed the G1 Sundoe cartoon continuity with a fine-tooth comb. I'm familiar with the characters. I love the characters. Not real up-to-date on the actual stories that took place back in the 80s. Shame on me, I know. He also comes with a pair of round cylinders that do the same thing. Hook onto his hand for various reasons. So yeah, and he comes with 2 of each of these. 2 of the hands, 2 of the like square cones, 2 of these round ones. They'll give you all sorts of different options for how to swap out those hands. Now I'm going to give him his regular hands back. There we go. Pretty easily done. One of the coolest additional accessories that I think he comes with is the jetpack. And the jetpack not only comes with the jetpack itself, but it actually comes with a couple of firing boosters, so you can put it on his back and it looks like he's actually flying, which is really cool. Really nice detail. Translucent orange flames. I really dig it. And of course, if you bought tracks like I did and were, a little bit disappointed in him like I was, I can tell you that there are some redeeming qualities to have bought a tracks, and one of them is a flight stand. Here's the flight stand that came with my tracks. We take Ironhide and we locate his, I refuse to use the word butthole, except I just used the word butthole. But we find a little port on the back that fits the flight stand. You can actually have him off the ground, and off the ground. The flight stand is really, really stable. No, he's just kind of sitting there. Took me about 2 minutes to get him positioned. And it's holding steady. The nice wide base lets you do that. And you can also like bend it down, so if you want it to really be flying. Have him do the little Superman maneuver, which is cool. Again, the base is broad enough so it completely holds him off the ground without tipping over, which is amazing because Ironhide is pretty big and pretty top heavy, and it still works pretty well. So that's a neat little feature that Takara included with Trax and has started including in some of their follow-up releases, the fact that you can actually use that flight stand in several different ways. Now we've got one other little animated detail to take a look at, and that is, and I don't know if I should have researched this before I actually did the review, but you know, in my typical fashion, I'm kind of going a little bit by the seat of my pants. But at some point, Ironhide uses an arm-mounted scanner. I want to say it's with the Dinobots, just because this little insert that comes with him looks kind of like a Triceratops skull. But I will be quite honest in saying I don't remember fully. Anybody who's a fan of Transformers and a fan of toys knows I'm a big fan of toys, but they're probably quite disappointed in me for not knowing this little detail. But he's got a little radar dish that attaches to his forearm, and the little lenticular thing of what looks like a Triceratops skull or something that goes into his chest plate that can awesomely replicate the effect of his little scan that he does. And it's really impressive. I mean, this thing actually looks like it glows a little bit once you put it in there. And it's really, really cool. It's a little detail that Takara didn't have to include, but they did. Kind of like the fishing pole that came with Hot Rodimus. It's a really awesome little touch that just gives the figure a little bit more added fun. And it's got a little nice tab on it so you can pull it out pretty easily. And I'm going to sound like an infomercial here, but wait, there's more. And there is more. I'm going to try to do my little focus technique on my clunky tripod, because this is something you're going to want to see up close. But there's Ironhide's face. Looks pretty straightforward. You know, whenever in the Sunbow show he was going, Prime! You know, he didn't have that calm-looking face when he was bitching to Prime about something. So he comes with an alternate face with the mouth open, which is really, really cool. One thing that I'm a little wigged out about is that Takara actually calls it in their instructions his crying face, and I refuse to believe that Ironhide ever cries at anything. So that's his bitching to Prime face, as far as I'm concerned. And that's an awesome little touch. Again, another little thing that Takara probably didn't have to include, but they did. Part of what makes the Masterpiece Transformers line so awesome. So there you have it. That is part 3 of my look at MP-27 Transformers Masterpiece Ironhide. I waited 30 years for this figure. It was 100% worth it, even if the release of this figure caused me to spend several hundred more dollars on buying other figures to be displayed with him. It's all his fault that this Masterpiece stuff started, so if you have found these videos to be totally miserable to sit through, blame him. And coming up soon, I'm planning on possibly getting Ultra Magnus, and we've got Shockwave coming up, and of course, Ratchet, who's another figure that I absolutely have to have, especially after getting my hands on Ironhide. But hopefully you guys have liked these reviews. If you do, please subscribe or give me a like. If you don't, leave me a comment. Let me know how I can improve. Other than that, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully people like what they see. This is Justin from GeneralsJoes.com. Thank you very much for watching.